All right, I got a couple of things to cover. Probably the one big one we have was under the disorderly conduct. So it was last night about 11:30. We had a woman that was outside her home. She'd actually just returned home. This was in the 200 block of North Dogwood Place. While she was outside, there was a guy that came up. He was wearing a baseball cap that said police on it, and he had a basically like a tactical vest or a bulletproof vest that said police on it as well. He asked her about some suspicious activity that was in the area and started asking her questions about drugs, and she didn't think this seemed right. There was something that seemed off about it. So she asked the guy for his badge, and he made a comment that he was a detective or something along those lines, and she just didn't think anything seemed right about that. So she made the comment that she was going to call police, and this guy took off running. As he was running away, she saw he had a gun that was tucked in the waistband. He hadn't used it or threatened her or anything like that, but he took off running. We had some officers that recognized the description and had an idea who this person may be, and so they were checking the area, and about 15 minutes later, they stopped this car that was swerving around that belonged to the person they were looking for. That traffic stop happened near 12th and Ebenezer. Inside, they found the cap that said police, the vest that said police. They also found a loaded handgun. He was intoxicated and arrested for DWI fourth. They also found a small amount of marijuana inside the car. So he had, the charges were DWI fourth, possession of marijuana and paraphernalia, impersonating a police officer, and possession of a loaded firearm while intoxicated. I think that's about it. Not really sure why he was doing this. He really didn't give any type of reason for that. And I'd have to say that she probably did exactly what we'd want people to do. If you think there's something that's not right, the person that's claiming to be a police officer, in this case, the guy, he didn't have the police uniform, and certainly we've got some officers and detectives that have different varieties of clothes, but they all have some identification with them, especially a police badge. So asking for some type of identification, if he didn't have any, which is the case, then calling police or calling 911, which is absolutely the right thing to do. So thankfully, I think this thing ended probably as best as it probably could. Like I said, the big question of why, we don't have answers to that. That I don't know. I'd have to go do some digging into that, but actually they don't want us talking about past history. So I'm not sure if he's been arrested for this in the past before or not.
So you can't address, did you say the officers had an idea who he might be?
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Part of it was she had a pretty good description of him, and my guess is there's probably been something, I'm not exactly sure why, but they had an idea that this guy may be who they were looking for.
Could you give the address of where that happened again?
Yeah, it happened in the 200 block of North Dogwood Place, and it was about 11:30 last night.
Thank you. Can we get a name on it?
Yep. His last name is Sprecher, S-P-R-E-C-H-E-R. First is Eric, E-R-I-C. Middle is Scott, S-C-O-T-T. And he's 35 from Sioux Falls.
You said he also had a small amount of marijuana on him?
Yes. I think that was inside the car where it was found.
Were the police vests, things like that, were those legitimate? Or were they like props that he found like at a toy store?
Yeah, I saw some pictures of it. I guess I don't know if it was an actual ballistic vest. The carrier looked like a ballistic carrier. There's lots of different varieties out there. The one that he had was black color, and I think the hat was black as well and had the white police on it. So, I mean, you can get those any number of different places, but obviously the badge is the big thing, and a uniformed police officer will have the police uniform with the patches on it. So I guess I'm not sure where he may have acquired those, but and the other big one is the robbery. We don't have any arrests made on this, but this was yesterday, probably about 5:30, 6 p.m. We had a Lyft driver that picked up 4 people, 2 men and 2 women, and ended up dropping them off near 3rd Street in Bonson, the 3700 block of East 3rd. Once they stopped, there was a woman that grabbed the driver's phone, and she took off running. He tried to chase her down. As he caught up to her, one of the guys that had been in the car then pushed him, and must have been a little bit of a struggle, and the woman then grabbed the driver's keys. She ran back to the car, drove off in the car, or drove away in the car, and the other people, they all scattered different directions. So the man had some minor injuries, nothing big, but obviously their cell phone and the car were stolen. The car is a 2015 Mercedes-Benz, and there wasn't much of a description of the suspects either, so.
That was at 3rd and Bonson?
That's where they ended up, yep, at 3rd and Bonson.
Do you know where they started?
They started, I think it was near 8th and Cleveland. And that's pretty much it for the big stuff. The aggravated assaults, we had one of them involved juveniles. Another one, a guy was punched and kicked. He ended up going to the hospital, but no suspects on that one. The last was a strangulation case. The burglaries at a business entered, a storage unit, and then a bicycle taken from a garage. The one disorderly, that was the false impersonation case. Nothing else big with those. A few trespassings, some other just reports. Family disputes were some domestics and protection order violations. Frauds were ID thefts and a bad check. Larceny is really nothing big from there. Package, shopliftings, a couple of license plates taken. Nothing big as far as quantities on the narcotics. The rape and sex offenses are reports. Let's see, simple assaults, nothing big out of those. The vandalisms were mostly cars that were damaged. And the weapons violation, that was the gun that was found with the guy, so. That's.
Any update on the ATM that was broken into? Was there surveillance footage of that?
I haven't heard yet. I'll have to check with the detectives. Usually once they get it, they come and deliver it to me, but sometimes they get the surveillance video and there's really nothing usable on that, so I'll have to do some checking to find out if they were able to get a copy of that. And sometimes there's a delay. It may take a few days before we're able to get it as well, so I'll check and find out.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.